So what's an area of Japan or Tokyo where you've had some of your most memorable experiences?
Ooh.
For me, it's Shibuya.
Shibuya? I mean, yeah, I've had a lot of fun experiences in Shibuya.
Mhm.
I think I mean, I guess this is going to sound kind of weird, but I think some of my most memorable experiences have been like not a specific one, but in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So in of course in the high school that I work at, and then also when I was a kid, in the high school that I was staying in, I had a lot of memorable experiences. So yeah, it's kind of weird for me to say, but just to put into perspective, like back when I was a high school student, so this was like, what am I, 30? I'm 31 now.
Okay.
And so it was 14. What is that? 15 years ago? No. 17 years ago. I'm bad at math.
Okay.
So back then, vending machines, at least in like Kansai area, were a little bit more free.
Yeah.
In the sense that you could get alcohol from them. And so I remember there was this set of vending machines right behind a conveni, like right outside my school. And the school that I was going to when I was doing an exchange program was it was not an academic school. It was like a public school, and this is in Kansai area. It was a sports school.
Okay.
Right. So they had their baseball team, and like that was good.
Yeah.
And then everyone else was kind of just there.
Yeah. Right.
So I wasn't playing baseball, but I joined the rugby team while I was staying here. So I made friends with like all the rugby players. So they're kind of like the tough guys in the class, right? And
Dude,
so
it's rugby.
Yeah. And so I remember I'd be hanging out with them, and during lunchtime, everyone would just be like, "Hey, let's go buy some beers from the conveni." So like every single day during lunch in the middle of the day, we'd just be like chugging beers and then go back to class at like 16 years old.
Yeah,
so.
It's funny you say that because I have seen. Back when before I actually lived here, I saw people say you can get everything from vending machines.
Oh, you could,
and yeah, I think it's changed a lot now.
Oh, it has.
Because when I walk down the street, sometimes I see a vending machine where you can buy beer, but they're all out of commission.
Yes,
they're all old.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think at the time, there was kind of like an honor system. They're like, hey, you can buy alcohol out of this vending machine, but don't do it if you're under 20.
Yeah, and
I think most kids followed that rule. That would not work in America.
Yeah, right.
Those machines would be empty after like the first day. But I think people started to like catch on, and so kids just started buying beer, and then they switched it. I've seen a couple vending machines these days that still have alcohol, but they have like they require you to use your card.
Yeah, right.
In order to do
ID.
it. Yeah. So
what's like a major memory you have being at a high school in Japan? That you're going to take with you for the rest of your life?
So I mean the one I listed for sure, but another one was my uniform.
Your uniform?
My school uniform.
Okay.
All right. So like I said, I went to a public school.
Yeah.
And you know Japanese school uniforms, right? So you get the high school uniform. I was at a public school, so you got like guys have like the black pants and the white shirt. That was our summer clothes. Me being an American, I hated that. I did not like school uniforms. And quick sidetrack before I move on with the story. So my school in America was a private school.
Okay.
And we didn't have an official uniform, but we had business clothing that you were supposed to wear. That was our
like you're supposed to be business casual or something?
Business casual. Okay. So no jeans. We had to have like slacks, collared shirts. You can't wear t-shirts or hoodies or anything. So you're supposed to look professional. And I also hated that. And I wore jeans almost every day, and I got in a huge amount of trouble.
Okay.
I was in like detention almost every single
Rebel.
day. Yeah. But yeah. So in Japan, I've got to wear a uniform, and I was like, this is dumb. I don't want to wear a stupid uniform.
Yeah.
And now I fondly look back on uniforms like, oh man, they're kind of cool. But anyways, so I knew that I couldn't wear different clothing.
Yeah.
Like that was just straight up. If I did that, I would get in trouble with the teachers. But I knew because I was American, there was a little bit of leniency on what I could get away with.
Yeah.
So I started putting like accessories on my uniform. So, like I started off, like I was just testing the waters this first time. So I was like, okay, what if I just wore like a crazy belt? So I had this like black and white checkered belt that I put on, and I thought it was so cool. Like looking back on it now, it's like, God, you're so lame. But yeah, I put this black and white checkered belt on my uniform. And I went to school that day, and like a couple of my friends in class were like, "Whoa, your belt's so cool!" And then the teachers didn't see it because I was in the back of the class and I never stood up. So I was like, "Okay, all right, let's push a little further now."
Okay.
So I started wearing a belt buckle, and this belt buckle, the times were so much different.
Yeah.
Like 17 years ago, because so I had a belt buckle that was the Starbucks symbol.
Okay.
And instead of like Starbucks there, it just said "fuck you." And that's what I wore to school every day.
Well, I mean, I'm sure like some of the teachers don't know what that means. So it's like, wow.
So yeah, I had my black and white checkered belt. I had my giant "fuck you" belt buckle on it, and then so I noticed I got away with that, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see how far this goes now. And so I remember I put on a green tie. And no one at my school wore ties. Like winter uniform, sure, but like it's summer, no one's wearing ties. But I wanted to be special, so I put on a green tie with like shamrocks and stuff on it.
Okay.
And so I wore that, and finally, like my PE teacher, like kind of grabbed me by the arm and like pulled me over. Was like, "Why are you wearing a tie?" It's like, I wanted to. It's like, oh, you should take that off. Like, fine.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like they're kind of polite about it.
Yeah.
At first, they're not like, "Hey, quit that." Like, of course, if you disobey further, they'll be like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cheers.
Yeah. So like, it's funny that you said that because I kind of noticed the same thing when I came here and I was looking for apartments. I noticed this in kind of the business world too, because back in the States, everything's very casual now. Even when my dad used to work in investment banking, and at that time people were wearing super expensive shirts and stuff. But now it's very casual. Now, but in Japan it's still very like rigid. You have to wear a white shirt, black suit, right?
Yeah,
black jacket. And so I noticed my the people at the real estate agency, they all had a white shirt on, but then like the stitching around the buttonholes was a different color. Or like there was a little like ridge on the collar that was a different color, like a bright red or something. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's really weird. Like, why do they have these strange accents that's built into the clothes? And I realized that's how they can show their individuality while staying within the line.
Exactly. I mean, that's put perfectly. Yeah. And I think that's a pretty common misconception when somebody comes here. They say like, oh, Japanese people all look the same. Businessmen look the same. Students look the same. And I think initially, yes. But if you start looking closely, you'll see these like subtle little details of people just trying to express themselves here. Yeah, I completely agree, man.
Yeah, dude, it's funny.